They told you that being alone means something is wrong with you. That if you're not surrounded by friends, if you're not getting invited to parties, if you spend your Friday nights in your room instead of at a bar, you're broken. They made you feel defective, like you're missing something essential, like you're less than human. But what if I told you they lied? What if I told you that the most dangerous men who ever lived, the ones who shaped history, the ones who built empires and wrote books that survived centuries, were all loners, not because they were rejected, but because they chose isolation, because they understood something that the crowd will never understand. Solitude is not a curse. It's a weapon. Niccolò Machiavelli wrote The Prince in Exile, completely alone, stripped of his position, tortured, abandoned by everyone he once called an ally. He had nothing, no friends, no power, no comfort, just a small room in the countryside and a candle, and in that isolation, he created a work that would outlive every person who rejected him. His loneliness was not his weakness, it was his forge. You're sitting in your room right now. Maybe you're scrolling through social media, watching other people live the life you think you're supposed to want. The parties, the friends, the validation. And you feel like you're on the outside looking in. You feel like something is wrong with you because you don't have what they have. But I'm here to tell you the opposite. You're not on the outside. You're in the only place where real power is built. You're in the silence. And if you learn to weaponize that silence instead of running from it, you will become untouchable. Let me show you why lonely men are the most dangerous men on earth. Most people need other people like they need air. They cannot sit alone with their thoughts for more than 5 minutes without reaching for their phone. They cannot eat a meal alone without feeling ashamed. They cannot spend a weekend by themselves without spiraling into depression. Why? Because they have no internal structure. They are hollow. They exist only as reflections in other people's eyes, and when those eyes look away, they disappear. These are not strong people. These are dependents. They are addicted to external validation, the way a drug addict is addicted to heroin. And just like an addict, they will do anything, compromise anything, betray anything to get their next fix of approval. They will lie about who they are. They will suppress their opinions. They will tolerate disrespect. They will waste years of their life maintaining relationships that give them nothing just to avoid the terror of being alone. Machiavelli would look at these people with pity. He knew that a prince who depends on others for his sense of self is not a prince at all. He's a puppet, and puppets do not make history. Puppets get their strings cut, but you who are alone, you have been given a gift. You have been forced into the only environment where a sovereign mind can be built: solitude. When you are alone, there is no crowd to perform for. There is no one to impress. There is no one to validate your existence. You are forced to confront the most terrifying question a human being can face. Who am I when no one is watching? Most people run from that question their entire lives. They fill every moment with noise. Music, podcasts, television, social media, anything to avoid the silence. Because in the silence they hear the truth. And the truth is that they are nothing. They have no core. They have no mission. They are just a collection of borrowed opinions and manufactured desires, packaged in flesh. But if you can sit in that silence, if you can face that void and not blink, something incredible happens. You start to build, not for applause, not for approval, but because you must. Because when no one is watching, the only person you have to answer to is yourself. And that is when you discover what you're actually capable of. History's greatest works were created in isolation. Marcus Aurelius wrote Meditations alone in his military tent, surrounded by war, with no one to read his words. He was writing to himself. Nietzsche did his deepest thinking alone on mountain walks, alienated from society, driven mad by his own genius. Tesla worked alone in his laboratory, rejected by the scientific community, creating inventions that would power the modern world. Machiavelli, exiled and forgotten, wrote the book that every ruler for the next 500 years would secretly study. These men were not lonely because they failed socially. They were lonely because they outgrew the need for the shallow validation that society offers. They realized that the crowd is not wise. The crowd is distracted. The crowd is weak. And to become strong, you must separate yourself from the crowd. But society does not want you to know this. Society needs you to stay dependent, because dependent people are controllable people. If you need approval, you can be manipulated with the threat of rejection. If you need to belong, you can be herded like cattle. If you fear being alone, you will tolerate anything to stay in the group. This is why they shame loneliness. This is why they pathologize it. They call it depression. They call it social anxiety. They call it a disorder because a man who is comfortable in his own company is a man who cannot be controlled. He does not care if you exclude him. He does not care if you gossip about him. He does not care if you approve of his choices. He has built an internal kingdom, and you cannot invade a kingdom you cannot see. Let me be clear about something. There is a difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is suffering. It's the feeling of being disconnected, unwanted, invisible. It's painful, and if that's where you are right now, I understand. But loneliness is not a permanent state. It's a transition. It's the gap between the old you, who needed people to feel whole, and the new you, who is whole on his own. Solitude is different. Solitude is chosen. Solitude is strategic. Solitude is when you close the door, not because you're hiding, but because you're building. When you're in solitude, you're not waiting for someone to save you. You're not hoping for an invitation. You're working. You're reading. You're training. You're creating. You're becoming the kind of man who, when he finally does emerge from his isolation, is so formidable that the world has no choice but to pay attention. Machiavelli teaches us that power is not given, it's taken, and you cannot take power if you're busy begging for approval. You must first become dangerous, and you become dangerous in the dark, alone, where no one can see you, where no one can judge you, where no one can stop you. Think about what you're doing right now when you're alone. Are you consuming or are you creating? Are you scrolling through other people's lives or are you building your own? Are you wasting your solitude on distractions or are you using it as fuel? Because the lonely man has one massive advantage over the social man: time and energy and focus. While the social man is at the bar, spending money, drinking poison, having the same shallow conversations he's had 1,000 times, the lonely man is at home learning a skill that will make him irreplaceable. While the social man is managing drama, navigating fragile egos, trying to keep everyone happy, the lonely man is eliminating distractions and moving toward his goal with laser precision. While the social man is exhausted from performing, the lonely man is energized by his own company. Do you see the asymmetry? The social man is running on a treadmill. He's expending energy to stay in place. The lonely man is building a rocket, and when that rocket launches, the social man will still be on his treadmill, wondering what happened. But here's what no one tells you. Once you become powerful, once you build something undeniable in your isolation, the same people who ignored you will come back. They will want to be associated with your success. They will claim they always believed in you. They will want access to what you built alone. And this is your test. Machiavelli warns about this. He says that new friends are dangerous They were not there when you needed them. They did not believe in you when you were nothing. They are here now only because you became something. And the moment you stop being useful, they will leave again. Do not let them in. Protect the fortress you built in solitude. Only those who walked with you through the darkness deserve to stand with you in the light. This is the loneliness paradox. You must become powerful alone. And once you are powerful, you must remain alone in your mind. Even if you are surrounded by people, even if you have a team, even if you have a family, your core, your decision-making center must remain isolated, because the moment you let the crowd into your head, you lose your edge. You start making decisions to please them instead of decisions that are strategically correct. You become soft. You become controllable again. The greatest leaders in history were lonely at the top. Not because no one liked them, but because they understood that leadership is isolation. You cannot lead from the middle of the pack. You must stand apart. You must see what others cannot see. You must make decisions that others do not have the strength to make. And you must do this alone, because if you're constantly seeking consensus, you're not leading. You're following the average opinion of the group. And the average opinion is always mediocre. So, if you're alone right now, stop seeing it as a problem. Start seeing it as preparation. You are being forged. The isolation you feel is not evidence that you're broken. It's evidence that you're different. You do not fit into the shallow social games that most people play, because you're capable of something deeper, something more significant. But to access that capability, you must first survive the fire of loneliness. You must learn to be your own companion, your own motivator, your own validator. This is hard. I will not lie to you. There will be nights when the silence is deafening, when you question if you made the right choice, when you look at your phone and see everyone else having fun and you wonder if you're missing out. This is the moment of testing. This is where most people break. They give up on their isolation and run back to the comfort of the crowd. And the moment they do, they lose. Because they prove to themselves that they cannot handle the pressure of being alone. And if you cannot handle being alone, you will never be strong. But if you push through, if you endure the loneliness without medicating it with distractions, if you sit in the silence and use it to build something real, you will emerge from that fire as something unbreakable. You will have proven to yourself that you do not need anyone. And that proof is what confidence actually is. Not the fake confidence of affirmations, but the bone-deep certainty that comes from surviving isolation and becoming stronger because of it. Machiavelli survived exile. He survived torture. He survived betrayal. And he did it alone. No therapy, no support group, no one telling him he was valid. He had only his mind, and his mind was enough, because he had spent years training it, years reading, years thinking, years observing. So when the world abandoned him, he did not collapse. He created. You have that same capability, but you will not discover it at a party. You will not discover it scrolling through social media. You will not discover it by surrounding yourself with people who make you feel comfortable. You will discover it in the isolation that terrifies you, in the silence that most people run from, in the solitude that forces you to confront who you actually are beneath all the performance. And when you discover it, when you tap into that core of self-sufficiency, you become dangerous. Not dangerous in the sense of violent, dangerous in the sense of unstoppable. Because you no longer need anything from the world. You are not negotiating. You are not begging. You are not hoping someone will notice you. You are building. And when you build in silence, when you create without an audience, the work is pure. It's not corrupted by the need to impress. It's not diluted by compromise. It's exactly what it needs to be. This is the power of the lonely man. He is not performing for applause. He is constructing an empire in the dark. And by the time anyone realizes what he's building, it's too late to stop him. He's already 10 steps ahead. He's already fortified. He's already dangerous. So embrace your isolation. Stop apologizing for it. Stop trying to fix it. Use it. Use the time that other people waste on socializing to read the books they will never read. Use the energy they burn on drama to train your body into a weapon. Use the mental space they fill with noise to think deeper than they can imagine. Become the architect of your own life, not the supporting character in someone else's story. Machiavelli's final lesson is this: the prince must appear to be everything the people want, compassionate, generous, faithful. But inside, he must be cold, calculating, willing to do what is necessary. Apply this to yourself. You can have relationships, you can have friends, you can be part of society, but your core, your true self, must remain isolated, untouchable, unconquerable. Because the moment you let someone into that core, the moment you hand them the keys to your psyche, you give them the power to destroy you. And Machiavelli would tell you that no one, no matter how much they claim to love you, deserves that power. You must remain the sole sovereign of your own mind. Alone. Subscribe if you're ready to stop running from your loneliness and start weaponizing it. Not because you want to be liked, but because you're done being controllable.